We are going to discuss few of the topics based on science, especially the physics portion. So the contents that we will be discussing is physical quantities and their types, measurement and units, types of unit system, advantages of SI unit system, definition of fundamental units, measurement of length, the parallax method, special length units, and measurement of mass and time. So these are the contents that we will be discussing today. The first is physical quantity. Now, before moving into the topic physical quantity, I would like to ask you something. So, if we say quantity, what does it mean? जब हम लोग बोलते हैं क्वांटिटी का मतलब क्या होता है? दिमाग में क्या आता है पहले? क्वांटिटी, what is quantity? Yes, anyone? Simple. Yes. Simple, it is amount. Yes, quantity means what? Amount. Now, based upon the measuring ability, quantities are divided into two types. First is your physical quantity and second is your non-physical quantity. Now the question is, what's measuring ability? Like, of course, if we talked about quantity, we can measure it, right? But there are certain quantities that we cannot measure. Fine. The quantities which can be measured are known as physical quantity. And the quantities that cannot be measured are known as non-physical quantity. Non-physical quantity. Hello. On the measuring ability, quantities are of two types, as I said. The quantities which we can measure is known as physical quantity, and the quantities that we cannot measure are known as non-physical quantity. Say example. Let me give you an example of physical quantity. Suppose I went to the market to buy some groceries for shopping. Say suppose I bought a kilos of rice. Now here it's a quantity, right? I measured. What I measured? What is the quantity that I measured? I am sorry, rice is not the quantity, rice is the object. The quantity is the mass that I measured. What I measured? Mass. Say suppose my weight is 54 kg. Say suppose. But though it is less than that. So say suppose my weight is 54 kg. So here I measured a quantity. What is the quantity I measured here? My mass. Fine. So these are the example of physical quantities. Say suppose mass, length, time, volume. These are physical quantities that we can measure. Now, examples of non-physical quantity. Can any one of you give me an example of non-physical quantity? Any example of quantities which we cannot measure?
Light.
Yes?
Light.
No, light is not the quantity. It is measured in terms of intensity.
Air.
Air is also the object. It's not the quantity. Yes, you know what's the say?
Love.
What you said?
Love.
Love. Exactly, it is the quantity. As Miss said, she gave the correct option or answer. Like it is our emotions. We cannot measure. Say suppose after working the entire day, after doing n numbers of classes, by this time we are tired, right? Yes or no? Now, if someone asks you, ma'am, are you tired? You will say yes. How much? What you will say? Say suppose there might be a person who did not have his lunch, his or her lunch, since she or he was busy at that time. So by this time, that particular person might be hungry. Yes or no? Is there anyone among the teacher who is hungry by this time? Yes? Okay, Nana Miss is hungry. What's your name, Madhushmita? Okay, she is hungry. So now if I ask them, like are you hungry? They will say yes. How much? How much? Now here this is the quantity that we cannot measure. We cannot say I am hungry this much. No, a bit more than that, this much. No, bit more, no, this much. No, this is not the proper measurement. Okay, so our emotions, our feelings, these are the quantities that we cannot measure. Fine? So, such kind of quantities that we cannot measure are known as non-physical quantity. Is that clear? Second, measurement and its unit.